Annyeonghaseyo and Namaste. So for today, I'm honored that I'm presenting with you something that I value so much. Oh, my okay. So this presentation is about a dairy brand of. Oh, hi. Hello. Yeah. Okay, so this presentation is about a leading dairy brand in India, and we call it Amul, and I've added the pronunciation for you. So I chose Amul because it has been a part of my childhood as well, and actually I was going with a more modern, a more sophisticated brand for you in the beginning because I wanted to show the best side of India, but I thought that I should show the traditional side of India and how much it means to us, how much dairy means to us, how much cows mean to us, especially since I'm Hindu and there is something about my religion that we value so much, dairy. In this image you can see all the products, all the categories the brand provides, Amul, and Amul's tagline is the taste of India. So before I actually get into explaining what Amul is all about, I want to explain what a cooperative society is, because even though I talked to Olan and she told me that it's common in France, but there are some types of businesses that are more popular in South Asia, and that one of them is cooperative societies. So a cooperative society is basically a society which works by the farmers, basically the dairy farmers, they have the voting rights. So like for a company you invest in a stock and then you suddenly become an owner of a stock, but in cooperative houses, in cooperative societies, the farmers have the complete right over it. So basically one member, one vote. It doesn't mean that like in a company you have, like if I buy the 50% of the shares of a company, then I become the 50% owner, I get the 50% ownership rights. But it can't happen like that in a cooperative society. All the farmers who work for it get one vote each, and there is no other involvement. And so, when white revolution, which is the milk revolution or the dairy revolution, occurred in India, it was led by Verghese Kurian, okay? And the cooperative model is currently the model of Amul is owned by 6.3 plus million farmers, and it is a symbol of rural empowerment and national identity in India. The farmers are the owners; they are not just suppliers, okay? And that is how this works. So basically, Amul was started to empower the farmers, and that's how they led it. And there is this transparency and accountability that is in this model that cannot be found in other models such as companies or LLPs or partnerships. So before I get into introducing Amul, I want you to understand India and what's the perspective of India, so that you can answer my questions in the end better as well. So I want you to understand that India is the largest the country, by population currently. As you might have heard already, we have surpassed China. And the youth population, the 65% of our population is under the age of 35, which is a huge thing. And I think if you are someone who is interested in starting a business, you can always start it up in India. And you will have a lot of youth, you will have a lot of promoters in India. The vegetarian population, which might be uncommon for Southeast Asians, it's but the vegetarian population is about 40% of the population. So we don't eat any meat, we don't eat any, we don't hurt animals basically. And the market significance is just that, like I said, it's the fastest growing economy. It has a very strong startup ecosystem. So you can always start a startup in India. And there is a high consumption potential because the youth is under the age of 35. So India's love for dairy. So India is the world's largest milk producer. And I know it might sound funny to you, why am I talking so much about India and not just the brand and getting to the specifics of it? But the truth is that, to understand a brand as traditional as Amul, you have to understand my country. So India is the world's largest milk producer, and we also might be one of the biggest consumers of the product. and milk, ghee, which is purified butter, or paneer, which is just like tofu but made out of dairy, and curd, which is yogurt, are deeply tied into the Indian cuisine as well as the religious practices that we do. So Amul is not just a brand for consumption, it is also a brand for our religious practices. And vegetarianism, it drives high dairy demand, so people on an everyday basis, like in South Korea we have this, or like um, that we have to go to a store and then we buy groceries for a whole week or for 2 weeks, stuff like that. But in India, we buy it every single day. Like in Mercadona, I think in the Spanish example of the same, that we buy our groceries every day. So the distribution, you can imagine how wide it must be just now. So this is coming to the marketing, parts of it. So the needs. So 39% of Indians are vegetarians, so we don't get nutrition enough. So the needs are, for a regular person, is to find nutritious food and affordable meat-free protein for Indians. And daily essentials like milk. Milk is something that we drink every day in India, like 2 to 3 cups every time we have to drink it. And even my mother, she used to wake me up, and twice a day I would have to drink milk, even though I don't exactly like it. And then wants. So people don't want to buy from local farmers specifically, or it could be about the hygiene, it could be about finding them and accountability basically. But Amul provides all of that. Amul meets all these needs with a brand. And then there are flavored products. So if you're hungry and you're craving something nutritious but you also want to eat something sweet, you can always go for Amul ice cream. And we have creams, cheese, paneer, chocolates. You have seen all of that in the image. There are a lot of products that Amul offers, and there are convenience products like cubs and yogurts, like there are small butter chips, everything. Now the demand is met by when the needs and wants are being met, but also financially. So that's what the demand is about. And there are consumers of various income levels. So Amul just doesn't provide for one specific level of income. It can meet all of that. So we have very expensive products, or we have very affordable products as well. And specifically the middle class families of India, we consume Amul on a daily basis. So and the urban youth, we prefer high class packaging. So you would see that the distribution of Amul is based on the rural areas as well, the rural and the urban areas. So if Amul can provide for the urban areas, it would provide modern packaging that is updated, that is attractive. But for the rural ones, they have small parlors, which you'll see in the next slides. So coming to, since I saw the update that the professor sent about, including all the topics that are new, so I wanted to talk about branding. And branding is basically the creation of brand identity and the longevity of it. So the Amul Girl mascot, it's a witty and topical advertisement, like advertising style. So you can see obviously the girl, and you can see that it was an image that was created, it was an art style of the 1960s. And the Amul Girl is everywhere, it's on every product, and I think it's a part of our culture now. In fact, you will see similar brands in India which have not updated their logos at all. Why? Because they want to preserve the culture and the tradition of it. And you will see it mostly in a lot of FMCG brands, which is like food and fast consumer brands. So you will see that, no matter how advanced their packaging is, they always have those old logos. And if you want to research more on it, there are 2 brands that I would like to recommend. That is Parle G, and the second one is Borolane. So if you want to look into that, and you will find that for over 100 years, Indian brands have maintained the same logos and the same packaging. The tagline, "The Taste of India," it speaks for itself, and you can understand how it is not just a dairy brand to us, but it also is a national identity marker. Then the consistency, there is the same tone and there is the same advertisement, there is the same music to it, and you will see that I have attached some videos, so I would try to wrap it up as quickly as possible, but yeah. And brand personality. So there is something about Amul. So Amul, it presents itself as friendly, but also Amul has been a participant in all the politics of the world. So you will find newspaper articles, or on digital platforms as well, you will find articles where the Amul girl is talking to politicians and explaining to them the needs of the people. So the Amul girl is speaking for the needs of the people. So like if there is corruption in the country, then there would be an image in the same art style of the politician, and then there would be the image of the girl speaking something to him that eradicate corruption. And that shows how Amul girl speaks for the audience, speaks for the people, and not just she's just not trying to survive in the area of in the ecosystem of politicians and corruptions and money. And the packaging is clean, recognizable. You can always see that it is Amul from a distance as well. And here we are going to the marketing mix. That is the 4 piece. So you might have already seen in the image that there are so many categories. And so we have milk, yogurt, cheese, butter, you name it, Amul has got it. And there is this consistent quality. You would not find it like, there are sometimes I've seen that there are some products on sale in South Korea. You wouldn't have that. They just throw it away if it's not up to mark. And price, so it is affordable, it is value for money, and like I said, there are already premium lines to it. So you have premium products, like you have really expensive ice cream with like gold flakes on it. You have that, and that's traditional. And the penetration pricing for mass adoption. So they have the pricing set in such a way that everybody can afford it. Now the place, they have a strong nationwide distribution. In fact, this is what separates the brand from the other brands in India. So like India is a huge country, and so there are many regional brands, like traditional brands who have operated in their own states, in their own regions, but Amul, it goes nationwide. Then there are Kirana stores, which are retail stores, supermarkets. It's available everywhere. And these days in India, we are using digital platforms for shopping a lot. Like we have this case study you can study if you want. It is Blinkit. So you blink it, and in 15 minutes you order it, and the product is already at your doorstep. That's in 15 minutes. And that's something that I missed out on, because I was using Coupang a lot, and Coupang has next day delivery and not the 15-minute delivery, so I was missing it. And it is available. Amul is widely available on all the platforms, offline or online. And there are cold chain logistics as well that are maintaining it. And then promotion. So you can already see that there is a very strong branding, and there is emotional branding to it as well. And these days, I don't see a lot of ads for Amul, actually. On TV, on YouTube, I don't see them everywhere. But, that's how it goes for it, I think. I mean, I'm beginning to believe that the lesser you promote a product which is already outstanding, the more it stands out. Then there is social media presence as well. You can always look up their presence. And to tell you something, that Amul is not just a brand, it also has its own brand stores. So, in smaller places, actually for cooperative societies, as it is working for the farmers, sometimes Amul provides them with, shops, little shops, like it would be like the size of this slideshow as well. Like that's how small the stores would be, but they provide it for the farmers. And these stores can be found everywhere in every city, wherever you go. And as of 2024-25, it has over 9,000 Amul preferred outlets. So it's not just to generate profit, it is also to contribute. It is also to contribute and help out the farmers of the world, of India actually. And there is, more than 1,500 ice cream shopping parlors, ice cream scooping parlors. So you will see that everywhere. You might have seen those videos about India on the internet, that we have these street food stalls and everything, but they can be branded as well. In fact, most of the street food stalls are branded. Now, Amul has dealt with 15,000 dealers, and it has 1 million retail touch points. Now going to the STPs, segmentation, how it is, how the consumers are segmented, how the groups are formed. So basically, it can be on the basis of demographics, so age groups. So like little babies drink Amul as well, actually. And like I told you before, there are religious practices that require us to use dairy products. And so, it might be exaggerating, but it's exactly not. Because from the birth of a child to his death, because we perform religious practices there, Amul is a part of it. It can be a part of it. And middle income consumers, obviously we discussed that in geographics. So rural and urban marketing, how India is reaching out, how the taste of India, Amul is reaching out. And psychographic, so health conscious buyers and vegetarians. Vegetarianism is a big deal in India. In fact, many non-vegetarians are turning vegetarian now. And behavioral, so there are daily use buyers, like I told you, in Mercadona too, in the Spanish example. We go and buy every day the same thing. We want something fresh. In fact, my mom wouldn't use the same milk that I got yesterday. She'd throw it away and she'd tell me to buy a new pack of milk straight. So every morning these milk packets, these products are delivered, and distributed to every retail store. And there is not a single kirana, that is retail store, that wouldn't have Amul products, no matter how small it is. And that should say something. And there are a lot of competitors, mind you. Now, targeting the middle class families are basically targeted because even though there is premium pricing available on some products, there is not exactly that. Middle class families are the way to go. Then the students and youth. So currently India, like Amul, is coming up with, protein shakes, protein milk and whey powders. So, I think it's a great byproduct of all the dairy that they produce. It's a byproduct, and now they would be utilizing that byproduct. So I think it is opening up the market a lot, especially for gym goers or health conscious consumers. And then NRIs. So, in fact, when I came here to Korea, I brought a big pack of all the Amul products. Really, I have, because it's important to me, because it's the taste of my country. So yeah,
bring it next time from the Amul product.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, in fact, I was planning to bring some, but they have travel sized products as well. It should say something. And then the health focused consumer, like we already discussed. Now we have the positioning of the brand. So Amul, unlike the other dairy brands in India, it stands as the national brand. Okay, so it is not available only in some regions like other brands are. Like, in fact, the main competitors, they are occupying not all of the Indian market. In fact, they are mostly saturated to a state, to a specific province. And Amul, in fact, it's leading as the taste of India. It's affordable, it's trustworthy, and like the Amul girl mascot, she has been there since 1966, and she is the world's longest, like one of the longest running ad campaigns in the world. Now, Amul has high quality and it has emotional connection, so all the brands have that mascot and it's already showing. Now, this is a new topic that we might not have discussed earlier, and I wanted to come up with it. So, Kotler's product levels. So, as per Kotler Keller, there are five product levels to a product. So, the first one is core benefit. So, the core benefit is basically meeting the needs of the consumer. What do people need? What do people want? Vegetarians want protein. Vegetarians need something that is, that is not containing of meat, basically. And even meat eaters use Amul a lot. So, yeah. And then the basic products, so the tangible offerings and then the intangible satisfaction that it offers. So, tangible offerings like Amul milk, butter, cheese, paneer, and all that. And Amul ghee is very famous. In fact, that's the thing I've brought with me from India. Expected products. So consumers, when they buy the product, they expect something hygienic, they expect something premium, like at least for the middle class people, Amul is a premium brand. And then the freshness and the availability, it is available all across India. There are new flavors getting introduced every time, and you will see that. And we have a lot of regional tastes in India. regional cultures in India. So the brand is meeting those needs specifically by introducing limited edition products or something like that, and augmented products. So basically, how consumers want to see the product is the expected product, but how it actually appears is the augmented product as per Kotler. So the brand equity, which we will discuss in the upcoming slides, and the distribution strength. So Amul has very nationwide, distribution. It has, like we discussed, over 1 million retail points that it is reaching out to every single day. Why? Because we prefer fresh dairy in India, and I want you to remember that when you answer my questions. Potential products. So the potential products will also be discussed in the upcoming slides in the diversification growth or in the growth paths as well. And e-commerce, mobile apps, it's already existing, but I think Amul can, obviously, like I told you before, Amul has stopped the advertisements and all for some time, and I think they can reach out to it. Now the 5 C's. Company India's biggest dairy brand, and I found an article which named Amul the world's strongest food brand, and it has about 75% of the milk market in the country. It's taken up by Amul, and the butter market to Amul butter is really famous. Amul ghee is really famous. Now customers. So you would see that in the video that I have attached, which I'll play in some time. Can I play this video? Yeah. Okay. In some time you'll see all the customers. So in this video which I'm showing you, I basically want you to see how broad the customer range can be. And this ad is from almost over a decade ago, and I remember all the words, all the lyrics to this song. I really do. Why? Because everybody in India does. In fact, this brand, this video, it is.
Yeah, you can click that just clicking and click it.
बढ़ता है खेलता है झूलता उछलता है दौड़ता कभी कभी दौड़ कराता है आगे आगे बढ़ता है इंडिया अमूल दूध पीता है इंडिया बनाता सेहत बनाता लाइफ के मैदान में बाजी मार लाता आगे आगे बढ़ता है इंडिया अमूल दूध पीता है इंडिया.
So it basically translates to what? Just a moment, guys. We can do this.
What's that?
Huh? I don't know how to read.
The icons? Icon in there.
Oh, okay. No, this is not it. Shamsi Manyo, guys.
How about the Chrome icon with the logo?
I don't see it. Can you? I think can. Is it this? Can you go to the resources? Yes. And yes, I also want you to see that this is Korea, this is India, and I came from a long way, guys. And this is Gujarat, which is the origin point. So the White Revolution, when it was started by Dr. Verghese, it was led in Gujarat. Now, as you can see that there are various types of people presented in the video, and in fact you will see that the brand video, sometimes the advertisement, it's the same. Even if it's been like 12, 13 years since this video was made, it is still shown on TV sometimes. The same one. There is no update to it. And the competitors, so competitors mainly, you know, when I was in India, I used to eat mother dairy a lot. So mother dairy, as you can tell from the name, mother and dairy. So we worship cows in India, and so yeah, and there are also private dairy farms which are a big competitor, because even though Amul can defeat all the other brands with its branding, you know, the private trusted farmers, like in the rural areas maybe, or in the city areas too, in the less developed areas, you will see that people rely more on local farmers. So basically these local farmers, if you're not able to understand me, the local farmers are basically who have their own cows, who have their own you know, animals, and they get the milk from the source itself. So you know, the Amul milk, when you get it, Amul or any branded milk, it is pasteurized, so you don't have to boil it. But when you buy it from the local farmers, which is like, you know, the source of the product, there is no packaging to it, there is nothing. You just take a can and you go to the farmer, and the guy will pour some milk for you. And that's something that we prefer in India as well. And it is something that could be framed as a big problem. But yeah, and then globally there's Hershey's, there's Nestle. But I do believe that Hershey's and Nestle, they don't have a long-standing market in India. Now this is, I generated it with the data that I have. Now these are not actual numbers, but I want you to assume that they are, like, you know, the levels to a product. So as per the price, you will see that Nestle, which is an international, which is a global brand, the price is the highest, and Amul, it's framed as you know, a middle income, like an average price, especially with Nandini. Nandini is also a very popular brand in India, a dairy brand in India. And quality wise, Nestle and Amul provide the best quality actually. And you can see that, you know, Amul is directly competing with Nestle. And then with the market share, Amul has the largest market occupancy in India. And Nandini is actually a local brand, so basically you would see it in a lot of northwest part of India, but you wouldn't see it nationwide. Nestle, you can find it throughout the nation. Mother Dairy, you can find it throughout the nation. But Nandini is a brand that I took for example for showing you how a regional brand can reach out. Now the collaborators, like we saw before, it has like 3.6 million farmers working in a cooperative society together, and that's how Amul is dealing with them. And distribution happens every single day. And retail chains, so Amul has its own private parlors, so as we call it, you know, the Amul stores, we call them parlors. So like whenever we want to go whenever we want to get something, oh, my mother says that, oh, go to the parlor and get something. Yeah. And then there is the context. So this is not exactly a very related video, but it is, you know, about the emotional branding of the context that the brand forms. So there is cultural importance that we understood already. And since there are a lot of middle class people in India, and you know, India is still trying to grow as one of the most finest countries of the world, the market is price sensitive. So if the prices increase, it can be a big burden. So if it even increases by 1 rupee, it could be a problem, because people are buying it every single day. And if it increases even by 1 rupee or 2 rupees, then it can be a big problem.
So 1 rupee, how much you gonna translate Korean now? 1
Okay.
rupee.
1 rupee, it's like
1,000 won?
no. It's like you know, the prices in India are pretty cheap compared to other countries. So it's like 0.06 like won. I think so, yeah. It's like maybe like 100 won, or like actually a fraction, like 1/6 of 100 won. So 100 by 6, do your math, guys. So yeah, and that's how cheap India can be. And if you ever want to come to India, the money that you spend living a month in Korea, you can spend it in like 6 months in India. So yeah, and price sensitive, and there's a large rural population, so people buy stuff every day. And you know, the thing about the price sensitivity is that, you know, if Amul is increasing its prices, then the other brands will follow. Okay, so unless like it's unbranded milk, so like the local farmers, unless you buy it from them, if Amul is increasing its prices, then the other brands like Mother Dairy or Nandini, they'll follow too. And I think it is a classic agreement between them. It's an internal conversation, and that's why you will never find that there are differences in the prices. So you can say that Amul is leading, and it is leading the other brands as well. So it is discussing, it is dictating the policies. Now, the strengths, opportunities, weaknesses, and threats are the SWOT analysis. I've tried to keep it short. So there's massive distribution, like we saw already, and the numbers, and the strong brand equity, which we'll discuss later. Then there is cooperative credibility. We know that we as consumers, we as buyers of the product know that Amul at the end of the day, it's helping local farmers, it's helping the agricultural industry of India, and that's why we buy it. And the prices are actually low compared to Nestle or Hershey's or other global brands who are trying to enter the market. Now there are also Indian brands who introduce the same product at a higher price, and it could be higher quality, it could be something like that, but we don't stick to that on a regular basis. So there is a big brand in India coming up these days, it's called Epigamia. Epigamia has those premium looking yogurts and all that stuff, but you can't have that every day. So if I'm having Epigamia, I would have it like maybe once in every 2 weeks or twice a month. But Amul, if I want to have Amul, I would have it like 5 times a day, 5 times a week actually. So that should show you the difference about how price sensitive Indians can be. And opportunities, so it has limited global presence. Okay, wait. We have to discuss the weaknesses first. So in the international expansion, Amul is sending up private, packaged milk and something that can be stored for a long time, but it's not exactly working out, I believe. I don't have the numbers on me. And then there is the premium dairy products. That's weakness because, like I told you, the other brands which are introducing the premium line, they're getting stronger. And Amul wants to keep its prices low, and so it's kind of struggling. Now, the plant-based alternatives can be a huge weakness in my opinion, because Indians are trying to go vegan now, and it could be a huge problem. I'm not saying all of them are, but almost 10% of the population is already vegan, and I think Amul can really invest in vegan products. Then the opportunities, it has limited global presence, it can expand on it, and there is heavy dependence on dairy in the world as well, unless you're lactose intolerant, of course. And then we have the threats. So there are global competitors who are entering the market, like you have Hershey's flavored milk. Yeah, the flavored milk in India, it's not very popular. We just drink plain milk, so flavored is getting popular now. Then the climate impact on dairy farming, and yeah. And now I'm trying to rush it up now. Customer perceived value, which is also another name for brand equity. So it's how much value the customers believe they are getting for the price that they are paying. If they're paying 10 rupees, how much satisfaction, how much utility they are deriving out of it. So there is a strong trust factor. People associate Amul with purity and safety. Then the prices are affordable. There is a wide range of products. If you want to eat ice cream, you have like 15 or 20 different kinds of flavors, if not more. And then there's the emotional connection. It's the taste of India. Then reliability. It's highly available throughout the whole of India, and so customers do believe. You will see the survey results. They do believe that they are getting more than what they pay for. The growth opportunities, intensive growth opportunities. So how can they expand? So market penetration, they can increase the sales, of course, but it is very hard to say, like we are not the brand workers. And then the market development, it can expand, I believe. Expansion is a great option, especially for countries that have a lot of Indian migrants. We would prefer that. Like in the Middle East or Africa too, it has a lot of Indians, and actually Africans enjoy Indian cuisine, and the cuisines are similar, not the same, not at all, but they are similar, and so the ingredients they can be exported. Now, product development, it can provide non-dairy variants, which is what I believe. Integrative growth, it is how they can strengthen the supply chain. So they can support farmers with better veterinary services, and hence occupy the local farmers. So ask the local farmers to join them. And the forward integration, they can expand Amul parlors, and like we saw, they can expand the market as well beyond the country. Diversification growth can be of two types, related or unrelated. So related diversification, as you can see, there's already a lot of chocolate types, and that's an example actually. So they have that. And unrelated diversification, which is the future potential. The packaged vegetarian meals, like we have those packaged meals in Korea in convenience stores. Amul can come up with that. Amul can come up with protein powders, whey powders, and drinks like that, and actually expand with it. So you can see high protein dahi. It's not a very popular idea, but it can be, because last year there was a news that Amul would expand into the protein market, and I think that would beat all the global competitors. The data evidence, there are research papers that show that 50% respondents were satisfied, and 36% were highly satisfied with the quality, and 96% of the respondents said that they were satisfied with Amul products overall. And in the same survey, 67% said that quality in dairy products is more important than prices. So the conclusion for the presentation is, Amul, it's not just a dairy brand. It is a socio-economic movement. It started in the 1966, and now it's expanding throughout the country, and it has still not changed its mascot, which is this Amul girl right here. Now it represents India's culture, which is specifically why I chose this topic, because I wanted to talk about my country, not just a brand. And strong marketing fundamentals, they have built it into the structure. And you will see that in the next slide as well. So if there are any questions, I would be happy to answer them. Or we can move on to the next slide.
Okay.
Oh, there is no slide.
So thank you.
No, 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 no.
40 minutes for presentation. Okay, so first part to introduce what is India, right? India is one. I don't know. I know about a lot of information from your presentation. So,
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to keep it short as well, but then there was an announcement that I saw that we have to include the topics from chapter 6 to 10, so I tried to do that. And yes, guys, you can see India can expand. And if you want to answer the questions, if we have.
we have a two questions, right? So what is first questions?
The first question is, which international market segment? So would you segment it on the basis of taste, or would you segment it on the basis of age? Should Amul target first, globally? So if Amul wants to expand in your countries, what market do you think it should choose, and why? And the second question is, so since the veganism and lactose intolerant demands are rising, how do you think Amul can innovate without losing its core, which is dairy and not non-dairy? Okay.
Okay, is everybody answer for those two questions? Or if you have any question from India, even cultures, you can also ask them. Ask her. Okay? Any
Okay.
questions? Yeah. 이름 뭐더라? 네, 정민서. 체크 좀 해주세요. 정민서.
For the first question, I think the Amul should target youth and the students first, because when I see the Korea, when I live in Korea, I only have a chance to meet Indian person, people in school, in university. So I think youth and students should be the first target to have their international marketing system.
Okay. That's a good answer. And anyone else?
Maria.
I think it's kind of a mix of both questions, but I think they, as you said, they should try investing into the vegan market, especially with milk, like non-dairy milk, because it's quite popular across the world. And also, if I look at France, they're still quite expensive. So if
Okay.
Amul can provide some non-dairy products that are
Okay.
not crazy expensive, I think it could work in other countries, because otherwise I think each country has quite established like dairy brands, so it'd be hard to integrate, like to penetrate other markets if they don't invest in something very niche and providing an
Yes,
advantage,
I understand.
which would be price.
Yeah, I agree with you, Marianne, because I think India has a huge farmer population and we can obviously provide at very low prices than other countries do, even if we include the taxes and the global prices and everything. India can provide very cheap products
So how much is a butter?
of milk. Okay, I don't know how to translate it. Okay, so a bottle of milk, like it's a packet that is like of 34 rupees. Okay, like the last time I checked, it was 34 rupees. A packet of a liter of milk. But other competitors, they do follow, and 34 rupees would translate like would convert into a very low amount for like it would be around 550 Korean won.
Huh?
550 Korean won.
550원?
Yeah, like 1 liter of milk. Yeah, the prices are different. There are very premium products in India as well, but
It's a premium price?
no, it's not premium. The premium prices would be somewhere around 150, or actually the very premium prices would be around 1,000 rupees as well. When you come to India, you would realize, actually, I know it sounds awkward right now, but yeah, the premium prices can go till up to like 18,000 Korean won as well.
80,000?
18,000, yeah, 18,000 Korean won. The thing is that the price ratio is like very different for our countries. So, yeah. If you want to research more on that, you should. I mean, if you are finance students. Is there any other question?
Practice?
I think for question one, Finland would be like a
Okay.
good country because there's a lot of lactose free and gluten free, everything free. So maybe
Okay.
it would be a good country. They really love like a lot of dairy and milk.
Okay.
Yeah, they drink a lot of milk. And I think the prices, I mean the Indian prices.
So if
would be
we
really-
export it into the market, if we export it, then just let me tell you, it would be around 20 or like, actually it would be like 25k Korean won. If we, I think
Korean won?
25,000.
1,000.
Yeah, 25,000
Quite
Korean won.
expensive. 25,000?
Yeah, I think it would be, because I see a lot of Indian brands on Coupang as well, and they are like really expensive compared to India. So it would be 25,000 Korean won. That would be like cheap maybe for Koreans. Yeah. I mean, we have like
I don't think it's not that cheap.
it's not that, but if we export it, if
Yeah,
you
we
export.
have added tax.
Yes,
right?
of course, that's why. And I think the profit ratio is really high for Amul as well. So there wouldn't be any problem.
Yeah, MJ?
This one is just question, like, I think for Korean customers, they are quite sensitive of the expiry date.
Okay.
So I'm just curious about, I listened to the presentation and you said that
The
you
life
buy
cycle.
milk every day, like daily.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe Korean we buy like for once a week.
Mm-hmm.
So for like expiry date for 1 week.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
is the concept quite different from India?
I think on regular basis in India we like to buy groceries as well and not just dairy every day. We just like to do it. It's a habit thing. But in Korea, I think the shelf life for a pack of milk, like the ones that we Indians like, it would be 2 or 3 days. Okay, but if we export it like in these packets, in these packs, then it would be, obviously it could last you, I think, more than 15 days. So it's just the category of the products that are not as in demand in India. That's why they don't sell in India. But they,
You sure? can you just changing their packaging, then they
No, I mean it's not the packaging, but also like how they posturize it, how they purify the milk in such a way that it can be stored for a long time. We Indians, we don't like to take
Longer?
products with longer shelf lives. We like to buy it every day.
So now Amul is selling in United States?
I believe so. I mean, they are exporting a lot of products because the thing is that there are a lot of Indian immigrants and NRIs in the USA. So they have those shops, especially for Indians. So you can find that, yes.
So you said that the company is owned by 3.6 million farmers,
Yes.
and there's no largest stockholders.
No.
No.
I mean, there would be leaders of a brand who make the decisions, but the voting rights, basically, what the company does and doesn't do at the end of the day, they are decided by the farmers.
Okay, so no more questions? Okay. One more. Jeju?
First question. If Amul expand Korean market, I think they should target young people because Korean people like meme or fan advertisement,
Okay.
especially. So I think advertisement using Amul Go or the Fairlight
Okay.
taste of India
Yes.
is attract. This advertisement attract interest to Korean people. So Amul's advertisement, I think, effective for Korean people.
Okay. Thank you for answering.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
I have experience with the Indian family. I live in the UK, so the Forest Gate versus India, population area. So I have experience. So that you are the religion is Hindu, right?
Yeah.
Hindu, and then I every day eat curries.
Oh.
Every day. So actually, I don't like curry because a lot of curries and beans every day.
Yeah.
They have no meat, right? Mostly the vegetarian. But nowadays, the vegetarian and vegan is a kind of trend in the wave.
Yes.
So I think that even in UK, they have increased for their vegan population. So maybe we can find some answer for the vegan population or vegan product from the India because they have a lot of vegan product, right? Yeah. Okay. That's it. And then we will move on to today's lecture. We only left 20. She spent around 50 minutes, so I only left for 30 minutes. So okay, but I wanted to. This is very important, so I will explain very detailed that part for prepare the final exam. Okay. Okay, I want to tell you about two different the figure. So you have to compare two different figure. Which one is traditional chart, the other the modern customer oriented chart. So Amul maybe the product will considering for the customer needs, right? So for example, Coca-Cola, they're starting for their manufacturing in U.S. Mostly the customer actually they following for the top management, following for the advertisement, following for the tasties. McDonald's is one of the case. Actually, they care about the customer, but most of customer they following for these manufacturing products. But nowadays, maybe Coupang is one example. A lot of customer actually they give some opinion to the company, right? So if you look at these, so nowadays most of customer they gotta increase their voice, and then the top management they listen to them from the SNS media. So now modern society their organization chart will be opposite from the traditional. So the first important thing is customer needs and wants, right? Customer needs and wants is very important. And then frontline people, middle management, and top management that will be more, the weaken for their power about for product. So as I mentioned before, maybe Loli already mentioned that. I want to think about it. Why people? What is most important factor to the customers? Customer actually already perceived for the value. So we call this customer perceived value, which means different between prospect customers evaluations, all the benefits and the cost. Which means that if you vote for any product, then automatically in your brain calculating what is plus point, what is minus point. So what is benefit for me? What is the cost when you buy any product? Because you have to pay for that, right? You have to pay for that. So as many customers that will actually calculating between the total customer benefit between the total customer cost. So this is for like how to calculating between two different things. First of all, as I mentioned before, you pay for maybe for you buy some air parts and you pay for maybe 200,000 won, Korean won, and then maybe this is actually from the customer benefit because you got a product, right? So you got a function, you got a design, you like it, and then you go to Apple stores, and then maybe their engineer man that can give you a lot of information how to use an iPod and how to the designing things maybe. So this is for the service benefit. You go to there to get the explanation about the iPods. And personal benefit, maybe more the emotional thing. You're feeling good, or you're more satisfied yourself when you buy for the iPad. This is for the personal benefit sometimes. And then image benefit, maybe you feel very cool, and then Apple is more innovation and very cool than the design, for example. So this is for the image benefit. So product benefit, service benefit, the personal benefit, and image benefit will be the plus point. Okay. But we think about the minus point because you spend your money and you spend your time and you have to considering for I wanted to buy iPad or I can buy for a lower cost one, for example. So this is actually the spend something. The monetary cost, which is you spend your money, time cost. So maybe you're searching your information before you buy for iPad, or you can you go to some compare other brands. So you spend your time. This is for minus points. And energy cost, you spend your energy, time and energy. This is not minus cost. Sometimes maybe some customers got stressful because too much time or to spend your too much time or unsatisfied situation. So got stressful. This is also the minus point. So for total, the customer perceived value will be actually the calculating together between the two different factors. So one factor is total customer benefit, which is a plus. Second factor is total customer cost, which is minus point. Okay, so how can we, customer, how can customer value for this analysis? So first of all, identity, the major attributes and the benefit that customer value. So first of all, you have to identity what is major attribute. For example, Apple, the major attribute, what's its function, design, right? And the benefit will be, good quality. So you think about it, what is the product of the main identity of the attribute. And second part will be you have to think about it, quantity importance of the different attribute and the benefit. For example, we have to maybe calculating for two different products, which is Apple and Samsung. So they have two different type of product, and then we have to calculating which attribute they have, and which attribute is very important to the customer, right? I think it's quite important. The second part, we have to calculating the quantity, right? maybe the Apple have a 6, but Samsung have a 2. So in these cases, of course, customer they may considering Apple rather than the Samsung product, right? And number 3, they also think about for competitor performance. So as I mentioned before, if you wanted to buy some Apple product, then you have to also consider Samsung product, the Samsung product, because as you're the customer, your brain have the considerations that they put some maybe 2 different competitor brands, and then maybe you have to compare for that. So I think it's quite important how to compare for this competitor performance, okay? And the first, examine how customer in the specific segment rates customer performance against a specific major competitor on an individual attribute or the benefit basis. It's actually the same flow from the number 3. So anyway, like number 4 is maybe they pick very important attribute. Maybe some Apple is design, Samsung is function. This very important attribute. Then customer that will actually compare for that. And then lastly, monitor customer value over the time. So maybe Samsung value is getting increased, Apple is getting decreased, then also consumer they consider it. So consumer value analysis, that should be following 5 steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And then finally, the customer they know that what is most important value for them. Okay. And we think about the satisfaction. So Loli, I have a question. So how about satisfaction about Amul, an Indian customer?
Well, I think it is a great brand. I mean, unless you have connections with the local farmers, then you would obviously go for Amul or Mother Dairy. So Amul is like the more long-lasting brand, and we have this.
Okay, so you think that you mentioned that Amul have a high satisfaction, right?
Yes.
Because of the long term.
Yeah, long term.
They have a high loyalty. You mean the high loyalty?
Loyalty.
Okay. We think about anything else. Why people satisfied that product, Amir's product?
I think it's the taste and the quality of
Quality. Okay. I think it's quite important about the quality. So we think about it. What is total customer satisfaction? Well, I think that the quality is very important part about the Amir product. So total customer satisfaction, the person feeling or prejudice or disappointments that leads from comparing a product or services perceived performance. So as I mentioned before, this product quality is very important between expectation and result. So this satisfaction actually, if you didn't spend any money, right? You're just waiting. You have to waiting for decision which product fit for me, for example. So I don't know Amir product. I know that today anyway. So the bottle of big milk. So one is soy milk. This is Amir milk. So maybe customer that they have high expectation about Amir because we don't know. We have in South Korea. Even I don't know. I have a first time about Amir product. I just introduced from her. And then I have a high expectation. She said that, this is good quality and even the price very good, right? So in these cases, my expectation about this product is getting high, increased, right? So then think about for the result. If I high expectation about this Amir product, then I pay for that 1,000 won to buy for bottle of milk. Then the result, after drinking for this Amir product, then will be the equal, and then in these cases, I got a more high satisfaction. But even though I have a high expectation, but the result, the product is not that good, the taste is not good, so my result is getting down. So in these cases, it's not equal between for expectation and result. In these cases, the satisfaction going down. So this is point. So the total customer satisfaction will be equal for customer expectation between result, right? Okay, so a lot of company that were actually still doing for monitoring for satisfactions. So many companies are systematically measuring the how well they treat the customer. So actually, they have a lot of customer company they do that for survey. It's actually the easy way, right? And how about Amir? How can they monitoring for the satisfactions? For customer.
I believe that it is mostly through surveys.
Survey?
Yes, and also since the distribution network is so wide and so meticulous, they have to ask the retailers. That
They
for
asking the retail.
Yeah, so the shop owners they ask them for feedback like are my products selling? Is it good enough? What are the other brands they are buying?
Okay. So I think it's quite important the feedback from the customer, feedback from retail. I think it's quite important how to using for this feedback and how to adapt it for the quality about the product. This is very important, right? How much we left the time? Okay, we only left 10 minutes, I think, 9 minutes. Okay, I explained this table. This is quite important, right? So to understand this table, you have to think about as you are starting for new businesses, then what point moving on the profit, right? So if you look at this table, this 0 year is starting for your businesses, right? And first year, second year, third year. So this, the table explain for the 10 years businesses, right? So we think about it. What is the increasing for their total benefit? As you can this table, the number of customers starting they acquire the new customer is 100, right? But revenue per customer, the value per customer, they have no data because just starting their starting their companies, and also if they spend a lot of money to marketing, promotion to get new customers. So in these cases, actually they have a cost. They spend a lot of money, right? This is for the minus point. So if you look at this first column, the total cost or the profit, the cost will be the minus, profit is plus. So this is for $4,000, right? So this present value starting for 0 year is minus 4,000. You understand? You understand? It's not that difficult, but you have to the following for this, right? Okay. And okay, so yeah, you understand the first 0 year and second year, the first year. If you look at the number of customer is decreased, right? 10% decrease, right? But if your first year look at the revenue per the customer will be 100, yeah. Which means that they actually increase for their revenue. They spend their money. Their customer they spend their money increase compared with 0 years. And move on to the third column, the variable cost for the customer, which means, for example, they earn 70, right? So for 0 years, they have on 100 customer information, right? 100 customer information. They got phone, emails, and addresses, etc. They got a lot of information from the new customer, but they didn't buy anything. Okay, they didn't buy anything. But the first year, they actually did customer, even they reduced for 10% of the whole the customers. However, that customer still they bought for Amir product, right? In these cases, is the company's profit was going up. You understand? You don't understand? Okay, say again. So the 0 year, they spend their money for $4,000 to get new customer. So they got addresses and phone numbers. They got a lot of customer profile. This time for the 0 year. even though the first year they have to reduce their customer number, but still their customer, they spend their money. You understand? So that's why the valuable cost for the customer is getting up. You understand? So 70%, they're going all up. And then margin for customer is 30%. I have a question for you guys. So they got 70% profit from new customer, but why have to reducing all the whole benefit is reduced? Can you guess? So again, they got 70% valuable cost customer, which means they spend their money and revenue is even more bigger, right? However, the margin for the customer, the real profit is only for 30%. You understand what I mean? So why they reduce, for margin of the product? 한국말 다시 해줄게요. 자, 이 사람이 지금 첫 번째 연도에는 이 새로운 사람을 얻기 위해서 돈을 많이 썼죠? 그쵸? 그 마이너스예요. 첫 번째 이어에 갔더니 그 새로운 커스텀에 대한 인포메이션은 줄어들었죠? 그렇지만 이 사람들이 이제 돈을 쓰기 시작했기 때문에 100만 원을 번 거예요, 예를 들어. 그리고 나서 그 100만 원 중에서 굉장히 그 밸류어블한, 그러니까 로열 커스터머 같은 사람들이 한 70%가 있고, 그런데 마진은 그 기업 입장에서 마진은 30%밖에 안 되는 상황이에요. 왜 그럴까요? So you start your cafe in Dongguk University, right? So you spend your money for advertising and promotions, and you spend for $1 million, okay? And then a lot of customers came to see me, and then they give you a lot of new customer data. So you acquire, right, 100 customers. Then next year they spend their money, right? They spend their money, but margin is little bit, it's not the same for the revenue between the margin, real profit. Okay, so why have a so difference between the benefit revenue between the real margin? Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly. What kind of cost? Yes, exactly. So this table doesn't mention that why decrease for the margin. But you think about it, they spend for employee, right? Then and also they spend for rental fee, for example. They spend their electricity, for example. They spend for a lot of material things, right? So even though they have to increase for the whole benefit, what says like where is it? Yeah, 100, right? But real margin is decreased, right? 70% actually, the cost money, right? It's not additional. You understand? 이거 이해됐어요? 요거가 이해되셔야 계속 갑니다. Okay. So you look at for the first year, so total cost or the profit will be plus 2,701, for example. But that will actually move on to minus 2, plus. And then if you look at the number of customers, they increase dramatically just to graduate for their decrease for the whole customer, right? So 90, 80, 72, 60, 48, 34, 23, yeah, So, but if you look at for the revenue for the customer is increasing. You understand? This is the last part of today's lecture, okay? It's very, very, very important. And then actually the plus on the econometric things. So as I mentioned before, acquire the new customer is actually decrease, right? But if you look at the second column, that's the revenue for the customer is actually the increase. So, why is that? Yusan?
If price goes up, then demand goes down. So revenue goes up, but customers get down.
Yeah, exactly. 이해됐어요? Right? 혼자 저 한국말도 한번 좀 설명을 해줘봐. 한국 친구들 이야기 좀 어려워요. 네.
그 물건 개당 가격이 증가하면 수요가 감소하기 때문에 개당 가격이 증가함에 따라서 그것을 수요하는 고객이 줄었다고 할 수 있습니다.
Okay, so Yusang has a correct viewpoint. So why they have a number of customer increase and why they decrease for customer. So we think about it. Maybe for second years, maybe 80 customer they buy for the bottle of milk, and then their total profit will be 2만 원, for example, 20,000 won. But per revenue customer, yeah, actually increase because one person spend more money, right? So a number of customer will be decreased, but they spend more money the one person. So that will actually the increase. So that will actually the opposite for between the number of customer and the revenue for the customers. Okay, now you understand? No? Loli, you understand? Yeah, you sure? Maria, you understand? No?
I'll
Okay.
figure it out.
How about you? Understand? You're not sure?
I'm not sure if
Yeah, you think? It's not very similar, very simple actually mathematic things. Very simple mathematic. But as a marketing aspect, we think about it. Why they have to increase, why they have a decrease. But this is a hidden reason. We have to, guessing what is the hidden reason between those graphs. You understand what I mean? For the final exam, I have some multiple choices. Then I explain that. But maybe you have to guessing why have a graph is opposite. Okay. So I think that I give you more explanation next time because we time's up. Starting from here for this Wednesday. Okay.